Tell me why they sleeping on me, on me, oh. Tell me why they sleeping on me, oh. Tell me why they sleeping on me.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Trucking with Old Snapper, and I am that guy. I'm Old Snapper. I hope you're doing well, staying safe, and staying out of trouble. In this video, we're going to talk about the truck driver shortage. That's right. They claim there's a shortage of truck drivers in 2023. 80,000 short. They say by 2030 to be 160,000 short. We're going to discuss that. I say they're full of baloney. They're crap. It's all a game. And I'm going to go over some things right here to show you that it's all a game. This is something we need to be waking up to. We need to be voting properly, looking at people that are running for office so we can stop this. This is hurting all drivers. It drops the rates over here, and we're going to get into this right here in this video. Let's jump off into this. First of all, you can do a simple Google search and see that the government contradicts themselves. Looking at statements from the ATA, American Truckers Association, looking at statements from news organizations that get their information from different government officials. On one hand, they will tell you one thing, and on another, they'll tell you something else. But there's actually an agenda behind it, just like there is with everything here in the United States. There's a reason that they're trying to claim that there's a truck driver shortage. All right. And here's one of the ways they contradict themselves. Right here in this article, they claim that there are 10 million Americans that hold a CDL, nearly 3 times the 3.5 million CDL jobs. So if there's a shortage, it's not making sense from this article right here. But if you look at this right here, they tell you that we're 80,000 drivers short. So that piqued my curiosity. I wanted to find out why. Why are they claiming there's a driver shortage when there's really not? And we're going to hit a couple different angles here, so bear with me to the end of this video because we're going to look at this from a couple different perspectives. First of all, in order for an employer to expedite bringing foreign workers over to drive trucks, they must first prove there's a shortage and show an effort to hire Americans. As you know, most of the big mega carriers are in cahoots with the ATA. So I honestly believe that there's some scratching each other's back right there where they claim there's a shortage. So here's the thing. You got nearly 3 times the amount of Americans have CDLs than there are CDL jobs. I get that not every one of them 10 million people is driving a truck. Some of them come out here, some of them drive a truck and decide it's not for them. You know, so the working conditions, the pay, there's a lot of different reasons that people don't stay within the industry. Okay? The pay for what it costs to live out on the road. Because if you think about it, we make pretty decent money. But what kills us out here more than anything is eating, surviving. You have to get real creative out here if you're going to keep money in the bank. Otherwise, you will live literally from check to check, even if you don't take time off. So instead of the government or these businesses trying to make work conditions better, trying to raise pay, or even taking a look at the price gouging that goes on in these truck stops. You know, I mean, look at you ever looked at a can of Vienna sausages? You can get them 4 for $1 at the dollar store. You know, 4 for $1 at Walmart. It costs you $3 in a truck stop. You know, that's price gouging. That's exactly what that is. It's taking advantage of a market where the people don't have access to constantly get to Walmart or constantly get to the dollar store, constantly get to a grocery store. At some point, they're going to run out of food on their truck. They're going to run in between. You're going to have to buy food in a truck stop. That stuff eats your paycheck up quick. It doesn't take long at all. Any of you drivers out there listening know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, these trucks are not big enough to put a whole lot of food on. You can put some food on here to last you a few days, maybe get a week out of it. You know, and you got to get creative with cooking. It's not that simple to clean up. It's not that simple to do a lot of things like you do at home. So a lot of drivers do depend on these truck stops, and we get price gouged to death in these truck stops. If they wanted to work on something that would bring more people into the industry, they could work on that. That could be one thing they could work on. But instead of doing that, they just claim there's a shortage and then start bringing people over from overseas, right? That led me to do a little bit more looking, because I got to looking, how are they bringing these people from overseas? Well, they have this process in the visa process called the H-2B process. It can take several weeks, but it can be expedited to down to as little as 15 days. Here's what blows my mind with this. Now, 14 years ago when I got my CDL, you were required to read, write, and speak English. Okay? Now, I know some people coming from overseas do read, write, and speak English. But we have a lot of foreign drivers out here that don't. And that's creating a safety hazard for us as drivers, for the motoring public, for everybody. You know, that if they can't read a sign, if they don't understand a sign, that can create a problem. You know, we can't communicate with them on the radio. That creates a problem. That creates a safety hazard for this environment, which makes the already tough environment even more tough, forcing more people to throw their hands up and just go home. That got me to looking a little deeper, because I've worked for some of these mega carriers and I've seen a few foreign drivers there, but you normally don't see a whole heap of them. They come in, they may go to work there for a little while, and then they move on. A lot of times they move on into their own truck. Something that's blowing my mind, though, is you see a lot of foreign drivers coming over and going right into trucks. You don't see them working for companies, and if they do work for a company, they may only work there a few months. Now, I've heard people say, well, they just work harder. You're not going to build up enough money that fast to buy a truck and trailer, or to buy a truck and rent a trailer. It's not going to happen. Any of you out there that have been driving a truck know that. It takes a little while. You know, plus it takes a little while to learn the industry. So I got to looking at something. Now, how is this going about? Are there grants? Are there programs that they're offering for foreigners to get a path to entrepreneurship in trucking? And yes, there is. Here's what I found even more interesting, and I found this kind of alarming. You know, you got to be careful when you hear the news change the labeling, how they label or call a certain group of people. Now, you remember back in the day when people came across the border illegally, the news or anybody around called them illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, correct? Now, you notice now they're calling them migrants, or they're calling them refugees, saying that they're fleeing harsh conditions. Now, I never really paid a whole lot of attention as to why they changed the name. I just figured it was wokeism. You know, I just figured that's all it is, not a big deal. You know, call them whatever you want to call them, right? It doesn't matter. Well, see, I got into looking, and you'll see right here, if they call them a refugee, they offer even more paths to entrepreneurship here in the United States because they are a refugee. So if you label them a refugee and not an illegal immigrant, they have more options. They have more things they're available for. They do have paths to buying a truck, getting a grant, getting loans they don't have to pay back from the federal government. Those things are there. You can do a simple Google search and find this stuff. They offer programs for immigrants, but they offer even more programs for refugees. So that's why they relabeled them, and they relabeled them right under our nose. You know, and done it, they've said it so many times that we just, it's natural. We call them refugees or whatever now. It goes back to something that Hitler did. Hitler, what was it called? The Big Lie? Hitler said if you say something enough times, if you tell a lie enough times, eventually it becomes truth. So when the media or the government is pushing propaganda that's not proper, that's a lie on the American people or any people in any government, the way they go about doing that is they just keep repeating the lie. They keep repeating the lie until the people, the masses, accept it for what it is, right? So they've kept repeating this lie about refugees until us, the American people, have accepted it. When the whole time that's what they need in order to expedite, you know, some of these entrepreneurship programs, some of these grant programs and different things like that this administration currently up there in Washington wants to implement. And a lot of Americans don't know, because a lot of Americans don't do the research to figure out why it's changing. It's not wokeism, it's politics. They pulled a okey doke right under our nose. That's what they did. And I've wondered over the years why they claim there's a driver shortage when there's really not. You can look at the freight rates and know there's not a driver shortage. You know, it's simple supply and demand. The more trucks you have, the less freight you have, the less that freight's worth, the less moving that freight's worth. And when your truck to load ratio, when your trucks outnumber your loads, the rate drops. When your truck to load ratio changes and you have a lot more freight than you have trucks available, then your rates rise. So that right there, just that simple economic understanding will tell you that there is not a driver shortage within the United States, even at the current time. But they're still pushing it. They're still claiming it. It's all hogwash. It's BS. And it's for another agenda, and who knows what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the reasoning is. But they're pushing it. They're bringing it. But let's play devil's advocate and say that only 2 million of the 10 million people that have a CDL are driving trucks. And, there's a few foreigners already here. And that there is a shortage of truck drivers. Let's just say there is. Well, why not fix the problems within the industry rather than bringing people over from another country? Why not fix the issues that are in this industry? Truck parking, that's a big issue. You're talking about we're 80,000 drivers short right now in 2023. We ain't got enough room to park the trucks that we have now. Where would we park another 80,000? And we keep losing parking, which I understand is some of our own fault due to truckers trashing the area and leaving poop bags and piss jugs. I understand some of that's our fault. But at the same time, we still need a place to park. And we're running out of parking. You know, if there was such a driver shortage, you would see empty spots in the truck stop all the time. You don't see empty spots in a truck stop. These truck stops are overfull with trucks parked up and down the on-ramps and off-ramps, going into rest areas, parked in and out the rest areas on both sides. Trying to make parking spots wherever they can find a parking spot. There's nowhere near a driver shortage out here. We need to come together, wake up, and come together and try to figure this out. Because there's definitely a scam going on here. I think our own government has sold us out, but there's definitely a scam going on here. And it's hurting Americans. It's hurting all of us. It's affecting all of us. And if they're going to try to bring over another 80,000 people to fill truck driving positions and give them grants and stuff to get trucks, where are they going to park? Where are we going to park? What's that mean for our families? What's that mean for the safety of the motoring public? What's that mean for the safety of us trying to work around individuals that we can't communicate with? There's a lot of things to be thought about here, drivers. I hope all of you out there doing well, staying safe, staying out of trouble, being good to one another. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. Y'all take care and keep trucking.
Tell me why they sleeping on me, on me.